iRacing is back with the Ferrari GT3s, and this week we are racing at Oulton Park. Having done my practice laps here, I considered qualifying to be of the utmost importance because Oulton Park is a very narrow circuit, so there's not going to be a lot of space for overtaking. Having said that though, we have actually qualified in P13, so not the best qualifying result. How will we fare in this one? Well, let's jump in, and we're actually going to post-commentate this one. And it's totally not because I deleted my footage before I'd rendered it. Honestly, it's not. Anyway, let's jump into the action and see how it went. All right, so here we are. We're lining up behind the pace car at this point. We're about to get underway here. So yeah, I was sorting out my stuff earlier on and I didn't realize at the time that I had deleted my footage before I'd even rendered it. I planned on rendering it like tonight. Yeah, I don't know why I deleted it, but I did. But anyway, luckily I had the replay, so it'll just have to be a post-commentated race here. As we lining up here and getting ready for the race start. Quite a short pace car lap here, only doing about a third of the lap, maybe a quarter, so we have to really jam on the brakes there to avoid contact. Obviously, we're being post-commentated. The only disadvantage to that is we've got no timings and we don't have a rear view camera either, but pace car's in and away we go to start the first lap. It's all pretty steady start to this one as we dive to the outside to try and get a bit of space, and we do look like we managed to take a couple of positions. I'm not sure if that car is still on my right. It probably is, judging by the line we've taken there, but we're going to have the inside for the downhill left-hander. So couple of positions gained here in the early part of this one. We take the corner down to the carousel for the first time. All very much just a case of formation flying at the minute and just keeping our car where it is. So had a relatively good start though. On the fringes of the top 10 at the minute. As we go ridiculously off track as a car gets it massively long, and that puts us into a 10th position here, down to the low chicane for the first time in this race. And so far we're keeping it pretty steady. We're not getting too involved with the car in front, not too near, putting ourselves in any sort of danger. No point in going for the lunging and the moves. Last time I raced here was actually on Assetto Corsa when myself and John74 went head-to-head on WSS in the Yippies, I think it was. Yeah, and we had a great battle there. But starting lap 2 now. Go very wide into turn 1. But I don't think we're being challenged too much from behind at this point. Because you'll probably be able to see from the replay camera a bit better than I can, but there was a bit of a gap here. So we're just comfortable at the minute, and I'm happy to stay comfortable for the duration of this race, just to sort of have a nice, clean, steady race. Though I think we may have picked up an off track for that first instant on the first chicane as the Ferrari gets a little bit of grass, gets the back wheel onto the grass. And being so bunched up ahead as well, it gives me plenty of time to sort of brake early into that chicane and take it quite cautiously. But again, you can kind of see with these cars being quite wide and the track being so narrow, it's not the best for like trying to get past somebody here. Gonna have to kind of try and keep up a bit of pressure and force the other driver into a mistake, I think, if we're going to make any sort of moves in this one. Yellow car massively wide there on the grass as well, but we have dropped back a little bit from the pack in front. We seem to have clawed it back through that final corner a little bit. On to lap number 3. not the most ideal run through the first corner. The line's not great there. As we got a spinner, the yellow car there has lost it on the downhill, so we're up to P9 now. So as long as we can sort of keep things steady at the minute, a good result could possibly be on the cards for us here into the carousel. A little late on the power there, but lost a bit of ground to the red car in front. Actually a bit later on the brakes to try and get a little bit more of that time back. Down the back straight towards the fast chicane. And the black and yellow car has got it massively wrong. They've hit the tyre wall. We're all going a bit cautious here because of the yellow flags. It's all going a bit slow. But yeah, the yellow car is going pretty slow at this point. So another position gained. We're up to P8. Making slow inroads here. Yellow flags are called at this point, and there's a massive incident. And of course, we are the car at the forefront of that one. Who else would it have been to take the grunt of that? It's always us, and wow, we're having a real hard time here trying to get the car turned back round again. It was real unfortunate. We'll take another look at that incident after the race. But we've made a real hash of the recovery here, unfortunately. We tried to get going. I think we just put too much power down and spun the tyres up. Luckily, we are right by the pit lane here, so we can just dart off here to the right-hand side. But really unfortunate there. We was having such a good race at that point. Made up a lot of good places, comfortably in the top 10. And all that hard work has now been undone as we come in for our fast repair pit stop. And away we go. We're back on the track, but we are all the way now back towards the back of the grid. So, unfortunately for us, it looks like we're not going to be fighting for a decent position in this one. Unfortunately as well, we've taken some incident points on that. But we're back on track here. The car is repaired. Let's just see whether or not we can actually get anything out of this one now. As I've said a couple of times, it's such a narrow circuit, so I think people may be prone to some incidents that we've already seen so far in this race. But also, as the field spread kind of gets bigger and people start to put a bit more distance between themselves, the incidents are going to become less and less, and it's all going to be sort of more on a driver mistake sort of level as opposed to anything else. But let's see if we can get anything out of this. I think at this point we was about 10 seconds, or maybe not that far looking at that, probably about 8.5 seconds to the car in front. Again, it's pretty hard to tell because I haven't got any relatives or anything like that, unfortunately, in this, because we're having to do it on the replay on a postcom. But yeah, just another one of those really unfortunate incidents. We were all being cautious. The yellow flags were thrown at the time. We was all just trying to pick our way through. And I think when we take another look at that one on the replay, I'll be able to sort of explain a little bit more of and go into a little bit more depth of what happened, because it wasn't clear from the onboard what was actually happening there. My vision was drawn to the car on the right hand side, so I was trying to stay left, but ultimately to no avail, as the yellow car in front now has taken a pit stop. Must have had some sort of damage. So I believe at this point we are still plumb last in this race, unfortunately. Down towards the carousel we're going. The yellow car has got it massively wrong. I think they've just come out the pits. I don't know whether they've got cold tyres or what's going on there, but yeah, they got it massively wrong. And they are off. Just sort of drifted out wide. Didn't really sort of brake for the corner at all, and I think that was their race over. But yeah, visually we're not making any sort of inroads on the car in front. Gap is about the same as what it was when we came out of the pits, so it's not looking great. Claw anything back in this one, unfortunately. Despite driving around on my own, though, at this point in the race was actually going pretty quickly. 15-minute race as always in this Ferrari GT3 race, but we're already a good sort of 10 minutes into the race with only about 5 to go. So yeah, despite like being in a world of my own and not really much going on as we go massively wide there, yeah, it was a pretty quick race with all everything considered. As we're just trying to sort of push the limits, I think, a little bit here. I was looking at the relative at this point and seeing that, you know, there was a potential chance that I could claw into the car in front. So I was just trying to push that a little bit more, but as you've seen from this lap so far, it's not really working out very well for me. I've had a couple of incidents. So at this point, I think I was kind of like, you know what, it's probably not worth pushing, because if I carry on like that, I'm going to rack up the incident points, and potentially even worse, we're going to have another incident. So I think I'm just going to kind of, as you can see visually now, the gap to the green car in front has actually increased. So yeah, we're just sort of holding off a little bit more now. Not really pushing, not really feeling confident anymore to drive the laps, given the incident and the fact that when I've tried to push, the car has not felt planted. So more of a opportunity now to kind of explore my driving this track, see if I can improve. As with last week, I've been trying to think about braking earlier and trying to hit a few more apexes, and I think personally, looking back at my driving, I am hitting a lot more apexes than I previously was. Just I need to still take that now to the next level and think about how I can actually be faster whilst also doing that. So down we go again towards the carousel here, and we've actually yeah, I knew that was going to happen, clearly, obviously, because of the post coming in, but we found like this, there's a hidden bump, but I didn't know that was there. It seems like right at the edge of the curb there is a bump, and I took far too much curb and must have dipped my front wheel in that bump, and boy oh boy was my heart in my mouth at that point. I thought I was going to be going careering towards the wall like the yellow car did before. Thankfully I was able to kind of keep the car under some sort of control at least, and we only picked up an off track, so it would have been truly race over had we have hit the wall and given ourselves damage again, given the fact that we'd already used our fast pit stop. But I think that was another wake-up call as well, to think, you know what, let's just bring it home. We don't need to push anymore. We're clearly not gaining on the car in front. Everybody seems to have settled down at this point, and there's not really much happening in terms of incidents. So let's just bring it home safely without any more drama. That was a bad run through turn one. Very much we were miles off the apex there. Apex, sorry. I just don't know, I just didn't seem like I had any stopping power for some reason. And now we're taking a very wide berth on the edge of that curb. It's not to find that hidden bump once more. So funny little story with this track and this fast chicane here. Last season in LFM, we raced here in the Mazda MX-5s, and I just didn't race that week because I was absolutely petrified of that fast chicane. It drives a little bit differently in Assetto Corsa, and it's a very, very fast chicane in where you can kind of just cut the whole thing and take it in like third gear, fourth gear. It's a very shallow corner, but I was absolutely petrified of it. so I decided not to race that week. But touch wood, I have not had any instance of that corner on iRacing when we've been racing here, so thankfully I'm not going to deter myself from racing here. I'd like to get another couple of races in with the Ferrari and maybe the F4 this week as well, if I can. Once again, we're miles off the apex there. Don't feel like I'm really applying enough brake at this point. But you know, even though we're driving around at the back on our own, my sort of motto in this one stands that, you know, you should never give up, because A, you never know what might happen, and B, even if you're driving around on your own, it's valuable sort of practice time that you can potentially learn something about. Any sort of time you can spend on the track is beneficial. I was looking ahead there, it looks like the green car has lost a bit of time. We can now see them again as we come through this sector. Very fast exit though out of the slow chicane. Once again, we're miles off the apexes all of a sudden now. I feel like driving has taken a bit of a downhill turn right now. We seem to be not doing a good job of hitting the apex as we were earlier on in the race. As we go a little bit wide, managed to just keep it on track. But final lap here as we cross the line. Barney's waving that white flag. Once again, we're miles off the apex in turn one, but yeah, it's going to be a proper disappointing finish, I think, is the way we'll sum this one up. I felt like in the early stage of the race we had good pace and we had the potential to do something good and get a good result in this one, and we got as high as P8, P7 I think at one point before it's an unfortunate incident where we find ourselves at the forefront once more. Just absolutely destroyed us. And then I really struggled to get the car turned around. We spun up the wheels. We just couldn't get it facing the right way. So it took us ages to recover. But yeah, that's racing sometimes. We just don't seem to be able to catch a break in this series at the minute. We're just always coming across incidents and not being able to avoid them for whatever reason. But still we go. Still we come back every week and we try to do a little bit better as we come into the final sector of the lap here. So there we go. Like I say, I'm not entirely sure where we're finishing in this one because I've got no graphics or relatives, but we're across the line. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the incident in chase cam. I think it probably shows initially what's going on. So we're going to look at this, especially like this cluster of cars here. The black and yellow car right here. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, let's take another look at that incident, firstly in chase cam. So there's this cluster of three cars, ignoring the red one, there's a cluster of three cars just in front of us. The black and yellow at the head of the pack here has just hit the tyre barrier. So they're recovering. I've also got this slow car here as well. So keep an eye on the four cars ahead of the red car here. So we're all filing past the black and yellow car, and then we're gaining on the white car here. See the white and blue car there has taken a inside line. Something's happened between those two, and then boom. There's the contact. Let's get a bit of a better view with Alex here. So this is the car that was behind these two. So obviously that car was going a little bit compromised because it's just been over the grass. So everybody else got a little bit more speed. So this car here, which is Ruben. He's taking an inside line, but he'd already dipped a little bit of a wheel on the grass here. So he's already a little bit compromised and taking a funny line, but he's gone to the inside. Now, at that point, I think there might actually be contact between, maybe the slightest of touches right there, between Eric and Ruben. But he's on the inside line. He's now drifting outside. So Alex has seen that, and he's going to now take the corner and like potentially go for a move down the inside here while these two are kind of going towards the outside. So he's holding his line. He's turning. But at this point, Ruben decides, actually, I don't care that you come in. I'm going to come across you. That's basically what is happening at this point. So we'll go on board with Ruben. And because of that, Alex and Ruben actually make contact. And that flies Alex in the air. Ruben now his car's kind of sliding. So yellow flags are flown at this point. So, and we're here. Yellow flags for this incident right here. But obviously our view and what we can actually see, pretty limited. I don't know if it's this car that we can't see out of shot or what's going on, because I don't think I actually saw the contact because I was blocked between these two, because I was blocked by the red car here. So those two have made contact. So here what happens is Ruben's now sliding. He's going, and he's going to the outside at this point. And I've seen this. I've seen him go to the outside. So I'm sort of like, okay, he's going to the outside. Watch my steering. I'm aware he's there. I've finished taking the corner. Okay, he's there. I'm now turning to the left to know he's going to compromise for speed. I'm going to be clear of this guy. I'm going to avoid on the left. But of course, he's got his wheels on the grass at this point. He's tried to turn. The front goes round. The back goes straight. And at this point, 175 miles an hour. We slam on our brakes, but it's just too late. We're never getting that stop. We only actually reduce our speed by probably 30 miles an hour. We make contact, and then for good measure, not his fault at all, but DQ behind follows it up with a good old shunt. Front and back end lost, and our car is, let's say, in a bit of a mess. And then for whatever reason, I just light up the rear tyres, and that's why we have such a hard job recovering on this one. Make an absolute hash of a three-point turn in the middle of a track. Anyway, unfortunate, one of those things. Let's take a look at the results. This was split 4 of 11, and the strength of field was 1,498. We came home in P16. Car number 11, we started 13th. Our fastest lap of the race was a 1:35.360. Fastest lap of the race overall by Sebastian was a 1:33.518. So 1.8 seconds off fastest lap. We had 6 incident points. We have 15 points for the championship. Our safety rating actually improves by 0.01, taking us to 3.5. But we lose 62 iRating, taking us to 1,430. So there we go, guys. That was the race. And yeah, I am really not upset, but disappointed with the way that one turned out. I felt like when I was in the pack and at the start of the race, I was making really good inroads. I was keeping it settled, and I felt like a good result was on the cards. Unfortunately, you know, it happened. Hopefully I didn't overanalyze that incident too much. But let me know, like I said, if you guys think I could have done anything better. I'm always interested to hear your thoughts, and I do like to learn from anything that you guys could potentially give me in the form of advice. But as always, guys, if you did enjoy this one, please consider giving it a like. And if you want to see more racing content from me, make sure to hit subscribe, because there'll be plenty more coming real soon. If you want to get involved with the action on iRacing, head down to the description where you'll find a link, and hopefully I'll see you on track real soon. But all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for watching, and until next time, see ya.